I'm tired how they're so bad the recap is in. It feels like a very sporting episode. It's like half the episode is recap. Yeah. And what is there is pretty good. Like a filler episode, right? Than these constant flashbacks. But yeah, let's review the episode. I mean, what is there, I think is decent, is that Endeavor teaching them how to, like, by instinct, how say it? It's like, use your quirks by, not thinking, just do it, right? I think he explains it pretty well, actually, with the whole karting. Yeah, so, I mean, this is a classic thing, right? You do something enough, or you master something, and you can do it by just, by instinct, so you can, for example, drive a car, right? So, if you drive a car enough times, you kind of learn to, like, this is how it works, I can yawn at the same time, eat at the same time, You learn to do multitasking, usually by just kind of, mastering it without thinking, right? And that is done by repetition to some extent, but not always, but basically his goal is like, I'm gonna teach you boys how to use your quirks or your quirk abilities in a way that you don't really have to think about it, right? And then if you can do like 2 quirk powers, you have a deck of that. Or if you can do the power up and then you can do the blah blah, then you can also add your black lightning whip into that, right? And then so his strategy is probably the most especially the most useful for, I would say, Deku, I would say in particular, right? Because Deku has like 7 quirks. So the Deku's massive quirk collection for him is the most useful, I would say, easily to learn how to just do them instinctively, right? So that part was good. Hot waifu, she's there being like an assistant commenter, being like, she's there to do like the random, comments, right, and be all like, oh yeah, and that's fine. I love that. Hot new waifu did to do commentary, so that's awesome, and she did her part here, and I guess her quirk, explained in the eye catcher, is just her hair, like her hair is burning. So it's like a Medusa Gorgon with fire instead, stuff going on, right? And I guess you can't like, shoot fire off of that, right, without her hair. Then the question, of course, is that can she use hair on all her body parts? Yeah. The question is this her head hair or is it all her hair too? Right? That's the question. Is it burning all over the place? That's the question. It's burning, but anyway, so that was a good part. But let's be real here. I think the episode was pretty bad, honestly. I think the season has been disappointing in that sense because this is so much recapping. It's just like, oh yeah, you know what, Lou? Let's recap episode 1 again, or 3, I mean, or 1 to 3, yeah. So the bad part though is that why are we recapping again? Like why are we recapping? And I said earlier too, right? I said episode 3, 4 this season, but here again, this is so much recap. This season has been riddled with recaps. They're like, oh yeah, let's recap Todoroki and Deku, let's recap Deku training, let's recap a little bit of Bakugo, let's recap Hawks a bit, let's recap Endeavor a bit, let's recap this a bit, right? I mean, you know what I mean? There's so much recap. It's like 10-minute recap episode. It's ridiculous much recap. So, yeah, I just found it very disappointing. And the thing is that if you do it once or twice in a season, that is still like a little annoying. But it's like, okay, maybe you need to make some time, right? But now they're doing it like, it's like what, the 4th, 5th time now? And this is like the 2nd time they're doing it excessively. And they had earlier one episode when they used recap the episode before that for like 5 minutes, right? These two, one episode was really terrible because they took like 5 minutes of 4 or 5 minutes of the ending of the episode before, just put it in the beginning of this episode, right? It's the exact same thing. Yeah, I didn't even edit it. It's the same thing. And then we have another episode earlier with a recap, and here we go again with recap, right? So you can easily cut away half this episode, and you can easily cut away half those 2 old episodes too. So it really is like, if you had like decent pacing, we probably would only be at episode maybe like 13 or 12 or something, right? They've easily skipped over like 2-3 episodes by now, and it's getting really great, really irritating, I guess, really pissing off me. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a little bit like, oh, come on, enough already. Because, as I said, it's one thing you do it once or twice in like 20 episodes, but now we're up to like 4 or 5 episodes with this shit. It is getting ridiculous. And the next episode looks like a complete filler, right? We've already seen them at the water park episode earlier, yeah, basically. So, but things, I would say this thing though, I much rather prefer though the waifu filler episode though. Yeah, this to me looks way better though than having recap. Right? I mean, I'd much rather have a filler episode with all the hot girls, Ryoku, hot dragon wife, right? Ulrika, of course, and so on, and Hado, and also Sue, so you got the water. So Sue and her previous friend, because they go into where Sue did her relationship earlier, right, with the mermaid fish woman girl, and so on, right. So I much rather have this thing though. This like 20-minute filler that might still be entertaining, right? Might have some good fight, some good comedy, maybe some etchy because it's like a beach episode, so it might have some beach fan service, right? But yeah, much rather have this thing, of course, for the whole episode than having like half an episode, half a recap, right? Yeah, I much rather have a full filler episode than of course a normal episode, right? Without any recap, so you have a good pacing episode. And I also said One Piece too. I think One Piece should have so much more filler, honestly, because One Piece is doing this insanely slow pacing, right? Kind of like this anime doing right now, but it stopped doing filler because they had less to do in filler. But if One Piece did much more filler instead, and then they had obviously like here's the main storyline. That being said, right now they can't do that because they're in the middle of a storyline, but they could have extended the Uden or whatever, right? I think more fillers, but maybe now when today in One Piece we're having the best character of one, maybe they're gonna extend that flashback to a lot, maybe if we're lucky. That's kind of what I mean, right? I'd much rather see the animes go into like a filler territory or like an extended flashback, right? Fleshing out the character more, even though it's not canon, instead of having a really slow pacing, right? And here, they're just going for slow pacing. Yeah, they're going for recap, and then it's like here's like the mentoring, recap. That is just then I much rather have 1 or 2 filler episodes so I can have a decent pacing, right? And next episode looks like 100% filler. So. But the issue with that though is obviously this filler episode is gonna follow on like a recap episode, right? So yeah, the pacing is gonna be atrocious. And obviously, when I compare about the One Piece is going every week. This anime is obviously airing only for half the year, but still, it's a seasonal anime. Yes, it's airing half the year basically. So they are airing it a lot though. They're doing like 25 episodes though, 24 or so per year. So they're doing like basically half every year. So you have to say Macadamia has pretty high a lot of episodes per year too though, half One Piece, right? But still, it's like they have less of an excuse, right, for doing so much filler and recap. So yeah, I'm getting really tired of it. Next episode I probably will like more because yeah, I will definitely prefer 100% filler, especially with all the kawaii girls, right? The beach episode, much rather prefer that than having a recap. So that's probably better, and hopefully after this they will stop doing these recap fillers after the film next week. Hopefully. But anyway, episode 1, so I mentioned so you guys One Piece for that matter. It's gonna be really awesome. My favorite cast coming next episode, right? We saw the hand last episode, it's gonna be amazing in the preview. And we also have some more items related to Revenge and so on. Releasing Heroes, I think it's pretty good. One anime I didn't react to review to, but I actually really liked was the new Mappa show, because Mappa is awesome. And this is the remade, a guy about playing water polo with no memory. That was interesting. It reminded me of Pacho Samurai. Kind of a sad sport anime, yeah, definitely a Mappa show for sure. So that's later tonight, and yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do a main review definitely. After watching 2-3 episodes, I'll do a review at least. But I liked it so far. So interesting sad sport anime. So I give it my approval from 1 episode at least. See what happens after the day then. But I see you guys and have a great day.